Hello, it's finally here. The Touhou 20 Fossilized Wonders Reimu Normal 1cc. I've got it done with Red1 here, the Scarlet something or other. But as you can see, I've used the Snow Blossom stone 2 times there as well. So, before I get into the nitty-gritty about the stones and the unique game mechanics, yeah, this is the last one, huh? I guess I should, maybe I should get into the game mechanics. If I get all sentimental now, I'll probably just rag on about it until the end of the video. So, yes, great. I really love this game. I was really worried after 17 and 18. I was very meh on those games, at least compared to most of the rest of the series. And of course I liked 19, but that wasn't really the same game as this or the two before it, if you understand my meaning. But this game is really, really great. I love the direction Zun went with the music here. It's a lot more reserved, it's a little more chill. It's still got some pep in its step, of course. It is still, you know, a Touhou soundtrack for a shmup, so it needs to have some energy to it, but there's a lot of really nice, calm pieces in this, and I'm a big fan. I dared to go into the Steam discussions for this game, the first time I've done that, by the way, for one of these Touhou games, just to see what people thought of the latest entry and kind of get a feel for it. And yeah, I saw either rage bait or genuine criticism about the music in this game, and I don't agree at all. I think this is among probably one of my favorite OSTs, definitely one of the easiest ones to listen to cover to cover, I think. But yes, the stone system. So as you can see on the right, there's a set of stones you can pick from at the beginning of this game. You can think of it like your sub-shot. There's only Reimu and Marisa to pick from in this game, and so, you know, you don't pick any sub-shot like you would in previous games, or well, I guess in the older games. Instead, you pick one of these stones, and at first you'll only be able to pick any of the 8 stones, but you'll only be able to pick for that top part, right? And bear with me, this is a little, you know, it'll make more sense by the end of it. Anyways, once you get a run to stage 3 or further, you will unlock a copy of that stone, which you can then use in one of those other 3 slots, right? The left, right, and bottom one. And they all do different things, depending on where you put it, right? You'll have either so the left one is for your unfocused shot, the right one is for your focused shot, and the bottom one is like a kind of bonus passive effect type of thing. So in this case, right, I have the top one is a, you know, narrow, focused, high damage stone. And what this does, if you have selected like unique stones for all 4, is the top one will be whatever I don't know, I don't even know, I remember what it's called. It's the burst mechanic or whatever happens here. You'll notice at the bottom left, well, now when I move the UI in the way, at the bottom left there's that one bar there, the one that's horizontal, that fills up and you will enter a mode very similar to the like beast mode from 17. Yeah, and it'll do something like that, like you just saw there. And so whatever your top stone is, that will change what that is. And there's a lot of different effects. It's not just flat damage, which you might expect there being 8 different stones in total. So, but I think it's very cool. I think it's a perfect marriage between like the customization Zun was seeming to approach with 18 and being fair to the player and not just entirely reliant on RNG to, you know, get the cards you want out of the shop. Well, you know, it still encourages repeat playthroughs and playing the game more when trying different stones out so you can unlock them and, you know, try different combinations It's really cool. It's really cool. This is a super, super awesome marriage of a bunch of different mechanics from the previous games. And I'm really happy overall with how it turned out. You might think that this game is easy because of that. No, I mean, yes, it is more forgiving because of some of the things you can do with these stones, but this is, pattern-wise, I don't think this is an easy game at all. I think this is at least in the top half of difficulty for the Touhou games. And I can really confidently say that now, this being the latest entry in the series as of, when am I recording this here? August 21st, 2026? Yeah. This is not a super easy game. Which is good, because you should have a more punishing game when you have more forgiving game mechanics, or game systems, however you want to phrase it. Anything I forgot? I guess I forgot the Wonder Stones that show up. So on top of the horizontal bar on the bottom left, there's also a vertical one, and when that fills up, these Wonder Stones appear just like there, and you can break those, and it is a board clear and a bomb piece, and every 3 Wonder Stones you break, it becomes a life piece instead. So again, very similar to how the UFOs work in 12. Very cool, right? Very cool. Again, it's another one of those things where, you know, it makes it a little more forgiving in some ways, and it's also a little more punishing, because they do spit out attacks, at least not when they're, when they arrive during a stage segment. They don't attack during boss segments, which is wonderful, wonderful foresight on Zoom's part, because that would just be absolutely obnoxious with some of the attacks with the spell cards you're gonna have to deal with in the second half of the game. And even now, like, having to deal with like a green Wonder Stone like right now would really suck. It would really make this, again, it would feel bad to have, you know, a spell become more difficult simply because RNG didn't favor you some way, or you had, like, you collected too much of a resource. That would not feel good, to be punished or given a more difficult game because you were doing too good. Yeah, let's see, what else is there to talk about, game-wise? Not a whole lot, I guess. I guess I can describe what my kit here is. I mean, I'm sure if you've played the game you have an idea already, but the top stone there, of course, is for the, I don't know what it's called, the Wonder Stone mode, I guess, where, you know, for this red stone, it's a, just a straight beam of damage. That's not the one you really needed explaining, I'm guessing. The right one has my focus shot. It's very, very similar to Dream and a Dream Needle, Persuasion Needle from all the other games. You can see it there. Just straight high damage, very simple. The left one gives me my homing orbs, homing amulets. I really did just make the classic Reimu loadout here, and the bottom blue stone just boosts the damage that the homing amulets do, right? Boosts your unfocused shot damage. Very boring kit overall, I have to say. There's some really wild stuff, especially with like the green and the yellow stones that has you like being able to deflect bullets back at the enemy and, you know, become invincible for such amount of time and like attack backwards and stuff. So if you're hearing me talk about the kit I've chosen, you're like, well, that sounds kind of plain. Yeah, it is, but there's definitely stranger things you can do with your stones in this game. So, you know, cheers to that. We're coming up on probably the first part where I'll start talking about the actual stuff happening on screen. Frankly, I guess I could have talked about stuff happening on screen more often in the past here. Within this recording, I mean. Because yeah, this is not super simple stuff, but at the same time, I can't really give you any advice like right here besides just like stay beneath the greater fairy and burst out the lesser fairies, so you can clear up the screen. It's very straightforward stuff. I mean, you know, straightforward in terms of the strategy to deal with it, not necessarily straightforward in actually the process of dealing with it. Anyway, Nautico. Great boss, fantastic stage 3 boss. I love this boss. So very simple basic attack here at the start. You have these lasers that come out in this kind of, you know, sunshine ray pattern. These little white balls that come out too. Very gently directed at the player. You'll hear that classic kind of bell jingle right there when they start heading towards you. So this means you can misdirect them if you want. They're so loose and so like vaguely aimed though that I never found the need to really consistently misdirect them. You can see them again right there. They're kind of converging over there that second time. But now we're in here. Awesome, awesome, awesome first spell card. This is such a cool spell card. You get this grid. You can't see it because I'm towards the bottom of the screen, but you just have to trust that there's a diamond here. And you'll see these little openings in it, and what you're going to want to do obviously is move through those openings as the diamond shrinks around you. If you don't do that, eventually you will be crushed. You can move through the gaps here if you are brazen enough, I guess. I don't know why anyone would want to do that when there's very reliable gaps made, but I guess, you know, if it comes down to it, don't despair yet. You have a chance to get through. This one thing I do want to say is this grid, this diamond, is built depending on where you are on screen. This is not fixed. So if I was up here, the diamond would be built like that around me, right? It wouldn't be down here like it is right now. So that's enough talking. Oh, there you go. See this spell in action. So you can see it closing in, move through the gap to the right, move up, move to the left here. I'm in kind of bad spot here, but I managed to move back down. And I've got enough space here, I don't need to worry about crossing anymore. I can just focus down, not go. Move on to the next basic attack. Really cool basic attack here. You can see I kind of cheesed it with the Wonderstone bullet clearing effect there. But you have these lasers. Something in Zun's heart must have changed recently because these lasers have become very honest in these more recent games. The laser is just as it seems. You don't need to worry about them looking or being wider or whatever. You have plenty of time to prepare for it. There's lots of space. Yeah, great lasers again. Thank you, Zun. More more directed white balls again. Not a big deal as they were before. Here is the next spell card. It's pretty simple. You just kind of want to look for the pinch. The pinch on this first set is not very obvious. You'll kind of see the two humps here. You just want to be between the humps. Eventually the bullets will cross and you can just slip between the cross. See right there. Bullets crossed like so. And I just went right in. And I'm going to move up to right here, I believe. And just let them pass me by after that. Yep. Second wave is a lot more obvious with the pinch. You can see it. Well, you know, I didn't draw it very well. You can see it there, right here. If you have a high damage shot type, or you're at full power, or both, or you bombed or whatever, you probably won't even have to deal with this, but it's the same principle. Made it through just fine. We'll return to form with the sunbeams at the start, but now we have these blue ones, and there's a little bit more of them. They last a bit longer. That's about it too, though. That's not much to talk about. This is something, another game mechanic coming back from Touhou 8 here. Every boss in this game has a final spell card. I don't want to talk over this because I do want to talk about this spell card in particular, but seeing this has reminded me of it. Yeah, final spell cards are back. They're not a joke. They're not bonuses anymore. You have to do them all the time. And if you die, you do lose a life. So, right, they're not like this kind of for fun, like bonus challenge thing. You get to fight against a boss you did well against, like they were in 8. You do have to do it now. You know, do it as in survive the spell, or, you know, deplete the boss's HP to 0. Not a great showing here on this spell, honestly. You should look for the A and not the V. I took the A much closer to Naruto than I needed to. So you can see the A here, as opposed to the V. Pick the A, pick the A. Please pick the A. I should not have picked this A. Should have picked, like, this one down here. But I was in the zone, I don't know what else to tell you. You can see, too, like, how busy it is right in here compared to how open it is down here. Especially if you're using a wider shot type, like the Crimson Gem, the one that looks like a Chaos Emerald, the red Chaos Emerald. Any wider shot type would have performed a lot better down there. So yeah, in the end here I lost my bonus. I said that was the final spell card. This wasn't. This is the final spell card. Yeah. Pretty simple. Structurally. You just kind of need to move up and down underneath the boss to get around these yellow snake-like bullet columns. I don't know. I don't know what to call these, man. They're like diamonds, I guess. I don't know. There's another new bullet to deal with in these games. There's like a few of them in this, actually. These diamonds least egregious among them. But as you can see, it's a pretty fast card to deal with. This is a pretty high damage loadout I'm using too, right? I'm sacrificing a lot of strange defensive options for damage output here. I had something I was gonna say. Right, yes, stage 4 changes depending on what your main stone is, right? Your top stone, whatever the color is. I found red to be the easiest by far. These little pyramids, they just shoot straight down, or like, you know, vaguely aimed at you when you break them, as opposed to all the other ones. Green is just random, haphazard, all over the place. I don't even remember what yellow is because it's been so long since I did a run with a yellow main stone. And blue has like a circular pattern. It's not like a column like the red ones have. Yeah, as you can see, pretty chaotic stage here, and it doesn't get much better. These Kadamas, as you can see, or spirits, I don't know. I think they're Kadamas. I don't think they're Kadamas. Whatever. Explode into bullets when you break them. This segment here is easiest to deal with hovering around this side of the screen, I've found. In previous runs, I would end up getting sandwiched on the right side of the screen and managing to slip through, and I just kind of thought that's how you were supposed to do it. You definitely aren't. I think if you sit on the left here and destroy as many of these diamonds as you can, you have a much comfier time with this segment. Unfortunately, I get pressed to the right, not being able to destroy much of the diamonds, and then this Wonderstone appears and just makes the center of the screen a complete mess to deal with and get through, so I end up getting kind of sandwiched onto the right once again over here. Yeah, I didn't even need to bomb out there, but I did, unfortunately. Yeah, these little pyramids are pretty big pains in the keister. They'll, as you can see, drop more bullets the longer you leave them, and when you break them, they still drop more bullets, except that last one there, of course. Destroying these is also a good idea. You may have noticed there, if they reach the top of the screen, they explode into more bullets than they do when you destroy them, right? You can see here, that's a lot more than this circle here. The point doesn't really matter here because the mid-boss spawns in and wipes the screen, but, you know, if you need to know, good tip. Now, this is one of my unhappiest moments in this run, I think. This is a, oh, I spoiled it there. Yeah, you can imagine an unhappy moment where I die. Unbelievable. Anyways, this pattern here, there's always a tunnel to it, but the shape of the tunnel is always different in each run. so you don't really know where to sit to avoid having these spawn right on top of you. So I kind of move out to the side here, and I end up bumping in to that other one, which is a real shame, because it's not that hard to deal with it. Just want to stay towards the center and be mindful of the shape of the tunnel as it was being made. If it was straight, then you can usually just sit there and go straight through it, but if not, you'll have to be on your A game to maneuver around it. Anyways, on to the second phase of the mid-boss. It's just random circles. For the red pyramid here, this segment changes. This second part of the mid-boss changes, depending again on your main stone. Again, I find red to be the easiest of the bunch. Blue is also fairly easy. Just kind of the same thing, but in these wedge shapes with the jelly beans from previous Touhou games. More stuff to talk about, yeah. So, last segment here of the stage. These spinning yin-yang orbs come off of the colored walls. So you'll see they come off kind of like that. Boing, 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 boing. So as long as you're ahead of whichever order is coming out, you'll be fine. So you'll be frazzled, of course, coming off of the mid-boss. So you can see these green ones coming off here, and I'm to the right ahead of them, heading down, so I can be a... and it's all out of order now. Really chaotic, this fourth stage. More so than most fourth stages, I'd say. So now we are on Yuimon Asama. Pretty safe first spell here, for basic attack here. You can just kind of slip through the, very obvious gaps. First spell card is unfortunately not as forgiving. These hearts come out. These hearts are not hearts, they're circles, but they drop these little pink balls as well, and they scatter randomly. You just kind of have to bide your time as much as you can and then move through, or wait for them to pass. See, I get pretty lucky here, and I'm able to just walk right through that. But here I have to look a little more. I see this opening to the right of me, so I move towards that one instead. Pretty easy, in theory, but the RNG of it can give you some tough situations. So same basic attack, you'll notice this is the style of it. There was 3 balls per color there instead of 2 like it was before. You'll see later it's 4. Anyways, here we are. This is probably the hardest spell card of Asama's. Do not be at the bottom of the screen if you can help it. It will become impossible to dodge. You want to be as close as you can. And I really can't give you any more advice besides that. This is pretty much random. You'll kind of feel yourself being dragged down as the spell goes on naturally, because you're going to need to dodge these relatively quick bullets with no clear pattern. But you'll want to try and make an attempt to move upward as well, because if you fall all the way to the bottom, you are not going to be able to dodge at all, and then you're going to die. You don't want that. So here we are on the basic attack, third one. Like I was saying before, it's 4 balls per color now instead of 3. So again, it's not too big of a deal. Just kind of hold your ground beneath Asama, and there will be a path through every time. Yeah, I kind of, well, PTSD there, I guess. This is a tricky spell card. The best way I've found to deal with it is to go corner to corner. You don't want to go too high up here to misdirect it. You just kind of want to go here and here. Then the balls that come off of it will rain kind of like this, and it'll be more easy to deal with. These arrows are brutal. I don't know how they do it, but they will spawn balls off screen And yeah, you will have to deal with them, I'm afraid. So they're gonna come on screen. That's me being nice about it. So, you know, don't think you can just hit the bottom of the screen and like, oh, all the balls will fan upward. No, these ones will fan in behind you. I get quite lucky here. I have a Wonder Stone on screen while this spell's happening. I commit to breaking it so I can get some breathing room here. I think I need to end up bombing anyway. No, I don't bomb. Good for me. Yeah, well, I won't say, but I do usually bomb on that spell, and I have in the past. Anyways, last spell here. There's a lot going on, but there's very little of it. So these butterflies go outwards, as you can see here, and then they curve inwards. Not really a big issue, not really the scariest part of the spell. These stars go down and they will bounce on the bottom of the screen. The hearts will not. The hearts go down and they just disappear off screen. I don't remember what the diamonds do at all. The knives are and the arrows are the big ones you're going to want to worry about, because they are aimed, and they are aimed at you. And they're aimed on different schedules, right? So it's not like you can misdirect the knives and the arrows to at the same time. You're going to need to do it separately. You can see, yeah, it can get pretty messy, but there's usually not a ton happening. Like, there's usually plenty of space on screen to maneuver around, and so if you need to not damage Asama for a bit, it's very possible. It's a good idea. It's a good idea if you need to take some space. It's a good idea to do so. You'll have an easier time of it. Uh-oh. No way. Is this bugged? What? Well, it's not bugged, thank God. I would have been really sad for my last 1cc replay to be bugged. I don't know why that took so long. Got a little heart attack there. I started going like, well, how am I going to do this? I didn't record the run earlier. Alright. Thankfully, it didn't come to that. So yeah, here we are in the 5th stage. Things don't get easier. You will... I missed my chance to explain stuff there in my little panic. I want to be closer to the top of the screen at the start, so you can misdirect these volleys. You can see if you're in a good spot. Like, this whole volley is basically going off screen here, and that's thumbs up to that. That's what we want. And then if you unfocus, you can dip around most of the ones at the full screen. I get really lucky here, very lucky. I can't believe I'm alive in that situation there, but I am. And these do spread out, the ones from further away spread out enough that you can slip through them. But obviously this is going to get harder the closer they are to you. Again, another clutch from the Wonderstone here. Very tricky situation heading my way. I managed to avoid entirely thanks to the Wonderstone breaking. Yeah, these later stages, it's a really good idea to focus down those Wonderstones when they appear. I'm in a really bad spot here. Yeah, I end up bombing. It's pretty similar to the final stage of EOSD, if you'll remember, a very long time ago. Well, fairies will come in and drop these big rings, and then they kind of sit still for a bit, and then slowly expand outward. That's what this segment's like. So, nothing you haven't seen before is what I'm saying. If you have, of course, been following along. These green kunai fairies are not a big problem. They're pretty easy to deal with. As long as you burst them down in the center, or like as they move towards the center, you won't have any real problems. These black fairies drop these red diamonds here. That was kind of a lot of insanity happening at once, but these red diamonds, when you break them, become these big, columns of red bullets. The black fairies have a ton of health. I wouldn't bother, honestly, attacking them. You can just not attack, and then you just have to move around the red fairies, which is very easy to do. And it's what I would suggest, even. because there's really not a big benefit to attacking the fairies, like I was saying. They have a ton of health, and you will waste a lot of damage just trying to break through these red diamonds there. So, you know, don't do that. A lot of chaos happening here in this segment, so you'll have some red diamonds on your screen still if you took my advice from last time. I need to clear them out. So again, move away from the red diamonds so you can misdirect these. The red diamonds are a lot easier to move through without all this crap in the way. But, you know, these fairies are spawning in very patient volleys, and it's showing. Thankfully, you don't have to deal for it for long, because a mid-boss will spawn in just like this. It is a hodgepodge of all of the possible stage 4 mid-bosses, right? So you see the red portion here, and that's what the blue portion looks like if you're in the blue stone. There's the hearts for the yellow portion, and big green random balls for the green version, and then it loops back around to red, blue, yellow, green again. I did have enough bombing here. I don't even know if I needed to, honestly, but you get a full life for beating it. You don't need to bomb it, or like it's not like UFO, where there's that one portion where if you don't bomb or die, you get a full life or a full bomb or whatever it was. If you don't, you know, miss or bomb, you get that life all the time. So, you know, classic Touhou rule there. Fairly easy segment here. I'm playing it pretty scaredy cat. You just kind of want to move through these yellow rings as soon as you can, and then you can move horizontally across the screen to get around the pink rings as long as you've been in the corners. So you're gonna see, I don't bomb there, thankfully, but yeah, there you go. There's me going to the other corner. There's these volleys coming down. I have to move to the right. This pink one, I moved too late, so this one's a little bit too far to the corner to move around it entirely, and that means that I have to deal with all of the pink volleys, right? Not what you want to do. I end up just kind of flossing through the bullet teeth here, per se. Very delicate, very heart-pounding. You can see there, I was kind of at this moment I figured I was going to be 1CCing this run, as I, you know, I'm midway through stage 5 with full lives and 4 bombs. The 5th boss, don't worry, will put the pressure on that the rest of the game might seem to lack so far. But again, I don't know, I wouldn't underestimate this game. It's very plentiful with the resources, but if you're going for like a no miss, no bomb here, I think this is going to be a very tough game to do that on. Anyways, Watatsuki Toyohime, oh no, what a scary boss. So, first up, first basic attack here. This will probably kill you a lot. You will have to deliberately practice this, or unless you have really good intuition, I guess, you'll figure out that you need to just slowly move in one direction. This is a lot like one of Clown Piece's spell cards from 15, where, I can't remember what this similar thing happens, right? You have bullets spawn all around you, they collapse in on you, and you have to keep moving around the screen to avoid taking damage, avoid dying. So this first part is the easiest portion of it, of course. It'll get harder later, much harder. So it's very slow going, of course, because you can't reliably damage Watatsuki with forced to move around all the time. So, first spell card. Yeah, another new bullet type, these tiers here. They're circles, as usual, but they don't look like circles, and they come from all directions, as you can see. They come from straight down, from right and left, and they're going to come from behind you as well. I don't have a good excuse for this, you know, I just have to bomb most of the time here. I was lucky enough to be in my, whatever, Wonderstone mode, so that ended up taking the hit for me. It's a benefit of having a Wonderstone with a short gauge like this, is you can charge it up really fast. It lets you make some more daring plays like that, yeah, consider that. So yeah, here is the iteration of it. I already messed up. Even if this wasn't going to happen with all the tiers, I don't want to be down in the corner when this is collapsing and the next volley's coming in. So naturally I end up bombing out, yeah. It's essentially... Yeah, I should talk about the tactic a bit still. It's essentially the same as the start. You just now need to move through more bullets, so you can see there's a lot more bullets spawning in per collapse here or whatever. And then you need to have the space, or I guess the awareness to maneuver around the tiers if they are getting in the way of your maneuvering around the bullets. Another thing to note there, you may have seen these collapsing bullets do not break after bombing. I don't believe they break after dying either, so keep that in mind when doing either of those on this boss. I got very lucky with the Wonderstone spawn here again. I was able to break that and shred off a lot of this spell card. Very difficult spell card. You can't hang out at the bottom to dodge the tiers, because as you see they pile up in a sort of funny way at the bottom here. Play it closer to Watatsuki. Kind of, you want to wait for them to crumble like this so you can slide through gaps wherever they may be. Yeah, another very tricky spell card. I know it may not look too bad, but it is pretty bad. Here's the final basic. Same principle again, just even more collapsing bullets. I'm almost certain I ended up bombing here, but I don't remember what happened. This is what happened. Okay, so you can see I should have gone to the left here, not trying to go down. You want to take as much of the screen as you can, and you want to, you know, use as much of the screen as you can as well, right? You don't want to be going back to places you were already at, or even just towards places you were already at. Make sure you have all the room you need to maneuver around these collapsing balls, which I didn't do here. So I'm gonna have to bomb out of this. Yeah, I got a counter bomb now. Again, as you can notice, well, all right, fine. Spell's over. So, this is my favorite Watatsuki spell card. It's a pretty cool one. These tiers come up from behind, from the bottom of the screen, and then Watatsuki will send out this super dense ring of bullets. I don't think you can break it, or not break it, I don't think you can slip through it at all, but you can hide behind the tiers. The bullets break on the tiers. This is a pretty scummy spell card again. This is definitely something that's going to kill you the first time you see it, because how are you supposed to know? This is how it works. This is how you need to be positioning yourself until you've been gotten by it. But now that I do know how it works, I think it is a very cool, very interactive idea. A lot of notes from Clown Piece in this boss fight with this one as well, right? It's very similar to that one where you had that moon spinning around and it destroyed the bullets as it spun. Probably no coincidence because we are on the moon right now. So, I get a little bit of thematic bossing there, I guess you could say. Here's Watatsuki's final spell card. Is it the easiest? Yeah, I'd say so. You just kind of need to recognize the pattern. It'll rotate a bit, but it'll always have the same gaps. So once you practice it enough, you'll know where the gaps in it are. Another thing I should point out is the score is not emblematic of my actual record with these. I died a lot more than it looks like. I did not master or consistently beat, let's say, that spell in 3 tries or whatever. You get it. It's independent depending on which main stone you are using, right? So this is just the record for my Red1s. I remember doing rather poorly on this final stage, which is a shame, because I think this is not that bad. I think I could have inched my way along the screen for this segment, for example, and yeah, I didn't need to be so panicked like I was. But again, yeah, this is another late stage thing. Very important to focus on those Wonderstones when you can. Difficult segment here. You notice I ended up having to bomb here. If you get these yellow spirits, if they can hit the bottom of the screen, they will burst on the bottom of the screen. So definitely make an effort to either destroy those or play further up the screen so you have time to react to them. This is another segment where you can wait it out. I really, that's a sad death there. There wasn't a lot going on screen. If you wait it out and don't attack, you will just have to deal with the purple balls. But of course they will keep spawning those purple balls even when these red pyramids come in. So it's kind of up to you what you think is easier to deal with, the pyramids and the ball, the spirits balls at the same time, or, you know, the big burst of red arrows. This is another kind of chaotic segment here. If you just kind of find the wonder stones, which there will be a lot of, you're going to get a lot of, you know, points or stones and grazing here. You notice they're constantly spawning in at this point. You'll be in a pretty good spot. You'll end up breaking most of the enemies and clearing a lot of the bullets by just, you know, hard focusing on the wonder stone there. And you'll be able to move through it fairly easily. So now we are on to Aria, and in classic Touhou fashion, I think a lot of her stuff is easier than the stage 5 bosses. But you know, some pretty cool design spell-wise in here. This is a extreme grandma spell. The big wave of bullets comes out, and then they will all randomly angle themselves. So you can get a little bit dicey with RNG here, but it'll be a little dicey anyway. You'll notice, yeah, how tight the squeeze is down there, but definitely very doable. Just patiently know how big bullets are, know how your movement feels. Your comfort with the character will take you very far in this boss fight, as it usually does. That sucks. The basic attack is very simple. I didn't even talk about it the first time, but as you saw, it's just these line of the blue diamonds. Let's see if we can... Yep. Line of blue diamonds. Just kind of maneuver through them. There's an obvious tunnel, but you can definitely slip through the cracks like I was there. The second iteration of this is just more of the same. There's just longer chains of the diamonds, and they come more rapidly, so there's less space between each volley. So that's longer, and you can see the next one's basically right on top of me. And I end up getting nicked there by that one. Unlucky. This is another one that'll just kill you the first time. You're not going to know how to deal with it. I think I even end up having to bomb out of it here, but Aria will shoot these bullets at you. They won't follow you, but they will bounce off of the stage and then kind of vaguely direct themselves at you. Keep that in mind, and they will just kind of keep bouncing around the screen following you. I got another nice wonder stone there that kind of ended up blocking it out. And I think that's ultimately my downfall, actually, because I come down here to greed some damage, and I'm in kind of the storm of these bullets. It's not a big deal, but then the second volley comes out, and I take way too much space way too fast. I end up getting hit there in my stone phase, whatever you want to call it, stone mode. And I end up bombing out, because I already failed the spell card, getting hit by the things in my stone mode. So, Aria does this strange little volley here. It's not that bad, honestly. Kanako's first basic was harder than that, so at least I would say so. This is a cool spell card, though. You saw basically the gist of it in action already. 4 colors come out in an X pattern, bounce along the corners of the screens in a sense, and you just need to maneuver around them. Because they're in an X and they're bouncing around the rectangle, they eventually come back to make another X right here. So once you recognize where that X is going to be, you can just kind of head out the side of the X. that makes sense. I end up getting caught in the corner here. A little panicky, a little jittery. Bombing out. So now we have the volleys of stacks of diamonds. Really not a lot to say about it. It's pretty straightforward. This is a cool and very, very difficult spell card, I would say. You have this grid here of bullets, and it's not even cool bullets, it's these damn diamonds. They're circles, ultimately, and they're smaller than they look, but you need to navigate through the diamond maze while avoiding this yellow ball, which unfortunately for you is going to explode like that into smaller yellow balls. Yeah, it's pretty brutal. I can't even tell if I hit the diamond there or one of the yellow balls hit me. But yes, the maze doesn't clear if you die, so you keep that in mind if you do get stuck in that situation. Now at this point, it's all new stuff. This is all my first time seeing it on this fight. So that basic there, I don't even know what to tell you about it, frankly. It's just a kind of crossing laser spell. I don't know why the screen goes gray, but it does. I just sat in place and managed to get a nice little safe spot through that basic there. Got this spell here with these crisscrossing diamonds. Pretty straightforward, frankly. Just kind of wait patiently, move through when you see your opportunity. It's a very basic, you know, crisscrossing pattern there. This one I am much less confident about what's going on. You have these volleys coming up from the bottom of the screen, but these small pyramids also come out too. I don't remember if they shoot anything, or if they just kind of are an obstacle on the screen. They're clearing bullets, are they? I want to see. Yeah, they are. Okay. So focus on those. They do clear bullets on the screen. But unsurprisingly, I do end up dying. Things are, you know, a little bit dicey. Final boss here. Yeah, another spell card here. It's a very slow-moving spell card. Another grandma spell. Another grandma spell. Just you navigate through it, very chill. And then it's the final spell card. Yeah. So once you're through the first phase, yeah, the first phase. Let me catch my breath here. There's been a lot of talking. There's been a lot to talk about with this video. I've been talking really fast. So, first phase, very simple. Grandma through everything, no problem. Second phase, these blue rings are added to the mix. Third phase, these green diamonds are added to the mix. But the strategy basically stays the same. It's kind of grandma around and take your openings where you can find them. If you need to dodge anything, focus on dodging those green ones, because they're the kickers. And then the red ones are added in here, and that is just such a shame that I ended up getting hit by that red one. It would have been so cool to have beaten the final boss's final spell card in my final Touhou normal 1cc on the first try without dying, or you know, without bombing or any gimmies like that. But you know, what are you gonna do? It was a pretty stellar performance, I'd say. Yeah. That's it. That is the last for now. Touhou normal 1cc. I think it's a given that I'll do a video on the 6 remake 1cc. I'm still not sure what I want to do with that game. Obviously I'm going to play it, but I don't know, do I just do Reimu B again for old time's sake? I don't even remember, is it Reimu A or Reimu B? That was Homing Amulet. I don't even remember anymore. Either way, that's what I'm going to go for. Yeah, that or a hard 1cc, or maybe I try Marissa in that game out. I don't know. I don't know. It's kind of interesting. I don't really know. I kind of set this big goal up for myself to do all these games on a normal 1cc. Stuck with Reimu just because, you know, that's who I got comfortable playing. Um, and now I'm kind of trying to figure out what my next direction is, right? Do I do no misses, no bomb normals? Do I do hards? Do I go for like hard 1cc's? Do I go back and just play with other characters and like do collections, like get all the cards in 18 and stuff like that? I guess the cool thing is I can do any of those things, right? I'm not, I don't feel like I'm on a task now to normal 1cc all these games. I've done that now. I have that under my belt. Really, really happy, honestly. This has been a ton of fun. I know barely anyone is watching these and they watch it for 30 seconds, but you know, if you're watching this now, thanks for watching it. This series has been a ton of fun to make. Loop back to the beginning here. That's okay. Yeah, series has been very fun to make. It's very fun to play YouTuber, at least for me. You know, I guess there's some people who probably don't care to do it, but I had dreams of this when I was in middle school. I'm sure a lot of people did. So it's nice to come back and make videos again. Yeah, I kind of feel like I'm hanging on now. I'm refusing to say goodbye. I'm just looping all the way back to the start of the replay. Yeah, I guess that's it. Maybe in a month or so, I will see you again, talk to you again, be back again with EOSD Touhou 6 remake something clear. 1cc, hard, normal, Reimu, Marisa, whatever. We'll see. But I'll be back. I think I'll be back for sure. I've had too much fun doing this stuff, so. Yeah, alright, I'm gonna stop dragging this out. Thanks for watching, if you did. Hope this was helpful. Hope any of these videos were helpful at all, if that's what you came looking for. And, yeah. See you in the Touhou 6 remake. Bye.